as we've been hearing in the news this morning, a woman from Forlongley who was denied a life-saving operation at the Coventry's University Hospital because she was told her cancer was too advanced, is recovering after being operated on in Germany. 48-year-old Liz Smith was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer last March, and she was told it was too late for an operation and there was nothing that could be done. However, her family did some research on the internet and discovered a surgeon in Heidelberg in Germany was having very successful results. Naturally, Liz went over and was successfully operated on. A month later, I'm delighted to say she joins us on the show. Liz, good morning.
Good morning.
I mean, that's your story in a nutshell, isn't it? You went to the hospital for treatment in Coventry, and they told you there was nothing they could do?
Yes, I was quite well, actually, and just had a routine blood test which showed up some abnormalities, and I was admitted to the hospital for a week, during which I had some tests and nothing conclusive was found. I was readmitted about 3 days after discharge again, and told I had inoperable, locally advanced pancreatic cancer, and there was no surgery available, and offered a palliative care with a very, very slight chance that if I had 6 months radiotherapy and chemotherapy, there was just a very tiny chance that it may shrink sufficiently to do surgery, but they weren't very optimistic about that. And yes, we went over to Germany and had successful surgery over there.
It was your family, wasn't it? As I mentioned in the introduction, were the people who did the research on this?
Absolutely. I was really, I guess, really reeling from the diagnosis and preparing not to live very long, really. We quickly hit the internet and discovered that the survival rates were 6 to 9 months from diagnosis. So I was just left reeling, really, dreading leaving my children. I've got 4 children. And,
yeah.
My husband just didn't give up and was convinced that somebody somewhere must be able to do something. It hadn't spread and I'd got no secondaries, so he was just convinced that somebody must be able to do the surgery. The more he read, the more he realised that the only people that survive this are people that have surgery, really. I think 3% of people survive 5 years with this particular cancer, which hasn't improved in 40 years in the UK. The treatment is the poorest in Europe. Survival rates are the poorest in Europe, which is a bit devastating, really. So as I was getting my head around that,
yeah.
He was busy on the internet and kept coming up with this surgeon in Heidelberg, and contacted him, and we took a second opinion here with similar outcome, and he just said, come on, get in the car, we're going. So we got on the ferry and drove during the night, and long drive down to Heidelberg, and to cut a long story short, we saw a surgeon there who said, yeah, we can take you in now. Being British, I think we said, oh, hang on, we need some time to go home and prepare, which we did for a week.
Yeah.
And then went back about a week later and it was very scary surgery, it was very big surgery, and not everybody, I guess, that goes there would be successful, but I was, and obviously I'm very, very thankful for that.
And is that the surgery itself, I mean, is it groundbreaking stuff, Liz? I mean, is it a new pioneering surgery?
Not entirely. They just appear to have a more vigorous approach to trying surgery. It's not always successful, but they seem to be much more keen to offer surgery as an option. Mine was a little bit complicated in that one of my major arteries and major veins were involved in the tumour, and that seemed to be the cut-off point in Britain, that if your vein or artery is involved, they won't operate. I don't know whether it's won't or can't, I really don't know that. But in Germany, they resected the artery and the vein, had vascular surgeons in the theatre while they were doing the operation. Obviously, it was quite risky, and it's big surgery. But they do this type of surgery here. The cut-off appears to be when there's involvement of the veins and arteries.
And so you couldn't have had this surgery not only at University Hospital Coventry, but you couldn't have had it anywhere in the UK?
Not that we know of. We certainly asked if there was anywhere else we could be referred to, and we're certainly not aware of anywhere else we could have had this done.
I mean, you've been through, and I can't even begin to imagine the emotions that you and your family have been through. The journey that you've just summed up for us in a few brief words is a roller coaster of emotions. But tell me about how you feel about the care system that was looking after you in the UK. I mean, how do you what kind of emotions do you have for them that couldn't give you this treatment?
Yeah, I guess on a really common sense level, I do not understand if it can be done an hour away by surgeons in Europe. I don't understand why it can't be done here. It doesn't make sense to me. And I guess when I look back now, feel pretty written off. I probably wouldn't be here telling the story now.
Do you feel like, I mean, is there anger there as well? I mean, or are you kind of past that emotion now, or?
I guess I've been through a whole range of emotions, including anger and frustration. What I get very frustrated about now is the amount of money and support and awareness that is given to other types of cancer to discover. So, for instance, I came home and did Race for Life in April when I was well enough. It was in a wheelchair, I didn't run, but raised quite a lot of money. And then I find out that only 1% of all research money goes to pancreatic cancer. It seems to be a cancer that's been left behind. It's a very silent one that comes with no symptoms. And I guess I think my frustration now, which I want to channel in a positive way, is about raising awareness that there should be campaigns. GPs need more training, doctors in hospitals need more training about recognising it. I was in there for a week and it wasn't picked up. But mostly out to the public about the symptoms. There's a lot of, I never went to my GP. I wasn't ill enough to go to my GP. So I think awareness campaigns, like you say, about other cancers, it needs some highlighting and awareness raising for the general public. You know, silly things like indigestion, that's probably about the only symptom I had before I was diagnosed. So you kind of, you know, I guess I hope that my story might push people, I don't know who these people would be, but towards increasing public awareness of symptoms. And
no, I mean, it's just in order that people don't give up as well, isn't it? And they try other alternative treatments.
I think, one is about earlier diagnosis, because if people were diagnosed earlier, they can have surgery here.
Sure.
Whipple surgery is available routinely in a number of centres here.
Can I ask you how much it's cost, this whole process?
It was a lot of money, yeah. We had to turn to family and friends, and we didn't have it. We were very, very well supported by extended family and friends, but yeah, it's big surgery.
We're talking tens of thousands of pounds, are we?
Absolutely.
And how does that leave you now as a family? I mean,
owing a lot of money.
Right.
But you know, when your life's on the line, there is no cost. Is there? You know, we would have mortgaged our house or done whatever it took to raise the money. We're aware of somebody else this coming week, actually, was in a very similar position, that's also going to Germany for similar surgery, that couldn't have surgery here. And we believe that they have had a promise of some sort of funding through a European directive, which is a very new